Greetings, class. This is Steve, and this is your Unit 10 overview for PARM 2223 for Unit 10 of 2020. And you may think, well, why is he doing a video overview? He hasn't really done one before. And there's a lot of things going on because of COVID and everything else that requires a little bit extra explanation. It was a lot easier to film this than to try to type it all out. So let's get to it. So, well, as you are probably aware, ISU has suspended both the online and in-person classes. And here come my dogs. Hi, puppies. Yeah, this is my mini horse, and the shepherd is hobbling around somewhere back there. But anyway, so as you know, ISU has suspended in-person online classes through the end of the spring break. But what does this mean? As you know, spring break is actually next week. We normally have classes this week. Well, according to the memo and our guidance, classes resume normally on March 30th for now. And I got to tell you, I have a little skepticism on this. The CDC and some of the other groups are talking about a 30-day mitigation period, which includes school closures and everything. We will see what different organizations do locally and go from there. So, but I would plan for coming back to school on the 30th. My personal advice to all my friends is they're calling for a 30-day mitigation period. I would make sure you have your what you need for you and your family for at least that long, probably longer, because the disruption period will occur much longer than that. So stay safe. You guys know the deal. But we also received some instructions from Mike McKiddish, and the instructions I put up there. Instructors, I leave it to you. You can pre-record this week's lecture and assign as homework so you don't get behind, or you can shift and condense as needed. So what am I going to do? Every instructor is going to do their thing. What am I going to do? Well, Unit 10, the way we've been doing Unit 10 is not going to be dramatically different. You still are going to be required to do your research and readings. Just consider as part of your homework. Your discussion boards are clearly part of your homework. And probably the only big change is I'm going to record the 2 lectures that are due this week. And you think, well, I mean 2 lectures. Well, when we get into the clinical side, a lot of the weeks, for pretty much almost all the weeks moving forward, we'll have 2 sub-lectures in them, on 2 related but different topics. And this week it's going to be autonomic dysreflexia, which I know you already had some from Rod, more than likely in Guillain-Barré syndrome, or Guillain-Barré, depending on how you want to pronounce it. So how am I going to do that? Well, what that means is I'm going to record 2 separate screencasts for you to watch at your leisure. Now, consider these mandatory. You're required to do them, but there's no point value or anything, so it's on your honor. The issue you're going to come into is you're responsible for this material moving forward for the final exam, so on and so forth, and we're not going to come back and revisit it, as you are aware from the fast pace we've been in class. So neglect it at your peril. I will probably post a second non-graded discussion board. I used the discussion board form, but won't be graded or anything, won't be mandatory, where you can say, hey Steve, I had this question from the lecture, blah 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 blah, and then I will respond, or somebody else will respond also, but I will respond best I can to clarify if possible. That way you will have the opportunity to present lecture or to present questions that you may have after watching it. Again, you should watch the lecture. I know screencast, everybody complains about discussion boards, but discussion boards are a walk in the park compared to just watching pre-recorded video lectures. I hate them with a frickin' passion. So I'm going to have to play with this a little bit. Each lecture is right about an hour, so I may break them up into subparts. I may not, depending on how much time I have. COVID isn't just disrupted by ISU. Ada County has been all hands on deck, and I've been helping out with that. So you will have at least 2 pre-recorded lectures. You may have multiple smaller lectures that make up them, and they'll be labeled, and you won't be any challenge figuring that stuff out. So that's what we're going to do moving forward. I'm going to try to get that done next couple of days, so you have the most time possible to watch on your schedule when it best fits you, because that's a best practice, instead of saying it will only be available during this XY period. I know everybody's lives is probably up in the air. So what about Unit 11? Well, we don't know yet. I would anticipate that if this gets extended, that I will probably do something similar, maybe some small modifications, but something similar to what we're talking about doing for Unit 10. And what about the midterm review? Well, so what I've got to do is I got to figure out. I'm thinking, and let me know what you feel about this. But I'm thinking that maybe during the normal class period that we have, assuming something else doesn't occupy that, just doing a Zoom review, so anybody who's interested can log in and we'll answer questions and stuff like that and review it. I'm not sure I'm going to have time this week to put together a video review of that along with this. We'll see. But I'd actually like to kind of do a class feedback, comments, Zoom live review this week. But that, of course, that'd be completely voluntary and not required. So let me know what you think about that. And I want to say I hope you guys are staying safe. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Be smart. We talked a lot about this in the last class. Certainly it's not anything to panic about, but it's something definitely we need to increase our skill set on. So that's it, and be safe out there.